Here we have the current stock market update for Amazon.com Incorporated, stock ticker AMZN. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the 4-hour price chart. What we're going to be doing here in this video is taking a bit of an intermediate term view. Overall, the longer term view for the stock is obviously quite positive. We have seen, a very strong uptrend really that has been in place since the end of 2022. And, overall, from the longer term perspective, this type of trajectory is expected to continue. But we do need to sort of look at some more near term price movements here so that we can identify some profitable trading strategies, some acceptable entry points, so that traders can maximize gains for this stock if anybody is looking to trade this name from the top side. So as we can see here, share prices have managed to continue to move higher after falling to prior lows, coming in right around 150, 161. That formation here, as we can see here, there's a bit of a technical analysis lesson that can be given here, because what we did see prior to this decline, massive decline really, was the formation of a head and shoulders pattern for this stock. So you don't often see something like this for such a large name. This is obviously a mega cap company, a Mag 7 company, one of the largest companies in the history of the planet. So you don't typically see these types of formations that form on these price charts. However, what we do have here is a very clear example of a head and shoulders pattern. So what we can see here is the left shoulder, I should say. The left shoulder comes in right at 191.70, and then the head of the pattern comes in at 201.20, and then we have a right shoulder coming in at 190.60. So this is a very ominous price pattern. It does suggest that a longer term top is likely in place. And then what we see here is share price action that falls from 190.60 all the way to 151.61, which is a massive price movement for a name like this. And as we can see, we've even got price gaps here, which suggests that share prices were trading under a significant amount of bearish trend momentum at the moment. So, as we can see, the neckline for the pattern really comes in right around here. So this would be roughly just below 175. And when you're looking at head and shoulders patterns, the price projection tends to be the distance between the head of the pattern and the neckline of the pattern. So interestingly, what we can see here is that this played out almost exactly as expected. So what we have here is the head of the pattern versus the neckline of the pattern, which comes in something like this. This would be the head, and this would be the neckline right here, this vertical line. So we can see the distance between these two price levels with this vertical price movement here. And then, lo and behold, what we have here is a projected price movement that comes in almost exactly in line with what the expectation here would be. So, of course, it's not exactly the same, but what we were dealing with at this point was a severe amount of downside price momentum. And when you have those types of situations, it's not uncommon to encounter slippage. Exact price levels tend to become much more difficult to predict. And this is especially true when you're seeing large price gap formations that are occurring on these price charts. So overall, this is not the type of, this is not a typical pattern for a stock like this. You don't typically see head and shoulders patterns like this. You don't typically see, massive price declines with price gaps as well. But as we can see here, looking at the price patterns themselves does really pay off, because it gives us signals that these types of price movements are likely to unfold. So as things currently stand, we have seen a recovery here. Share prices have moved into near-term highs, coming in at 188.50. And this is significant because what we're currently seeing here is a share price high that is starting to come right back into contact with the right shoulder of the previous head and shoulders pattern. Now, this is a pattern that has already played out in the past. We wouldn't expect the same type of event to occur here. But that does not mean that this area of resistance has become invalidated. This is still a valid price zone here that would be expected to work as resistance. And as we can see, the share price itself is starting to have some trouble as we move toward that region. We haven't had a test just yet, and we did break above these prior highs coming in at 182.34. But this does suggest that the share price movement could start to be, ready for a bit of a retracement here or a pullback, given the fact that share price resistance zones are very close by. In addition to that, what we have to see here is that the indicator reading. This is the 4-hour price chart. So the purple line at the bottom here is the relative strength index for the intermediate term time frame. And as we're seeing here, share prices are starting to move into overbought territory. We're not quite there yet. Not surprising at all because we haven't actually hit that 190.60 resistance zone just yet. So it is interesting that we're starting to see, a bit of a rollover here in anticipation of those two signals. One, that historical resistance area at 190.60, and then two, the fact that share prices are now starting to move into overbought territory. So, there are some things that are kind of unfolding here, which do suggest that downside price movements are becoming more possible. We do overall still have this upside price momentum condition that is showing on the relative strength index, which has not yet been tested to the downside, or broken, I should say, which has not yet broken to the downside. But what we can see here is that there's a very strong slope on this momentum reading, and those types of slopes tend to be less sustainable. They tend to be much more difficult it tends to be much more difficult to sustain those types of conditions because this is a fairly elevated upward trend slope in the relative strength index reading. So that's typically not what you tend to see, but this is mostly based on the sharp reversal that was seen out of this 151.61 area. Since prices were, trading in oversold territory at that point, and there were going to have to be, some events here which did lead to a filling of this price gap. Since it's such a large cap stock, you really can't avoid something like that. There's always going to be buy and sell orders. They're going to be parked within this gapping area. And since we skipped right over those buy and sell orders, the presumption would be that we would need to fill those again at some point. So as things currently stand, that we are coming in right into a resistance zone, and we're starting to head into overbought territory as well. So there are some reasons to be cautious on this stock near term. That does not mean that the overall outlook is negative for the company, but this does suggest that this is probably not the best entry point for this stock. Here's the current stock market update for AMZN.com Incorporated, stock ticker AMZN. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.